Well, I love it when the Kings play the Warriors because it gives us a reason to bring on our next guest, who's one of my all-time favorite guests. He's been so generous with his time over the years. We learned so much from him. Former head coach of the Kings and Warriors, former Warrior GM, outstanding NBA analyst, the guy that taught Hank Finkel everything he knew about the game. Gary St. Jean, how are you, Coach?
Whitey, that's amazing that you know about Hi Henry Finkel.
Now, were you? I think you were courtside Friday, right? With the
I saw him there. Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah. MJ and I came up because my son Greg's coaching with Phoenix, and so my grandson William came, and my daughter Emily, and my son-in-law Patrick, and so we had a great time. I got to tell you guys, the Kings, they're the best. We love coming up there. Everybody's so friendly and nice. Just a terrific night, and got to see Webb and Vlade, and sat with Vivek. So it was a tough outcome, but it sure was nice to see a lot of old friends.
Coach, it's Kyle here. You know, knowing where this organization, this franchise came from with the drought, seeing it on the verge of its second straight playoff appearance, just remark, if you will, on the changes you've seen with this franchise and this organization. You know, it's been interesting this season. I feel like last year we were all excited. It was rah-rah. This year, fans actually expect to win and are disappointed when we lose. Can you just speak to just how far this franchise has come?
Kyle, you're spot on in that regard with the fans. And but yet, you know, those fans, they stick with you, you know, no matter what's going on. I've got tremendous memories about the Cowbells, and I got to tell you, Vivek and his crew have committed to this team. That the fans are behind them. Great arena, and you've got two stars. You know, with Fox and Sabonis, those are big time players, terrific players. And you know, you're going to look at that trade with you know, bringing Sabonis aboard, and Halliburton's cooled down back there, and Sabonis has just had a tremendous year. And you know, guys, you know, you can't control injuries. And with Herter going down and Monk going down, you know, you play that game against the Warriors and you're playing at home and you're fully loaded. I would say it's an even Steven game. You know, that's how good I think the team is. I think they've improved defensively. Because of Sabonis' passing skills, they present a unique offense in that you can run your offense through the center in the high post or down on the box, and you cut, and he makes beautiful passes. Herter was a great beneficiary. You talk about speed cuts off the ball, and he was a great cutter. Maybe he always didn't make every shot, but he presented a problem for the defense, because when you have to go over the top of a screen, it opens up gaps. And I'm hoping Fox is healthy. I know he tweaked his ankle the other night, and it's going to be a great game. And I in summation, I know that Keegan Murray and Barnes are going to play really well. For me, the key, and role players, guys, play better at home, and it really holds true in the playoffs. So a young guy like Ellis, a guy like Mitchell, a guy like Lyles, those are going to be key guys. Who's going to step up to help you get the win?
Coach Gary St. Jean, nice enough to join us here, Drive Guys. Last year, Coach, you told us to keep an eye on certain matchups, and you may have given us a preview with your previous answer there. But which matchups will have most of your attention going into tomorrow night's game?
Well, I'm sure you guys are intrigued about whether they will sag off of Sabonis. That's going to be really interesting to me. And, you know, I'm seeing him more comfortable taking that shot. And he's earned the right to take those shots and just be confident and knock them down. That'll be really key. Now, here's the key there, though. They're going to have Davis probably starting, the rookie.
Yep.
And he's a heck of an athlete, probably a similar height, but not as big. And I love that matchup. And what that does is it frees up Green to be more of a center fielder on defense, where he's at his best. And that was a big, big change for the Warriors, starting Davis, bringing Klay back into the starting lineup. And guys, a big key for that team, for me, is Wiggins and Kuminga.
Mm-hmm.
They give them the athleticism, whether it's paint touches, putting it on the bounce, getting in the paint to the rim. They get out in transition. Wiggins is a premier defender. So, but the Sabonis one is interesting to me, and I would say this about Fox, because I think, Kyle, you help me here, Whitey. I think, the last 7 or 8 games, he struggled a little bit from 3.
Mm-hmm.
So watch to see if the Warriors go over the top or under the screens with him, out around the top of the key. And if you give him a crease to get in there, nobody finishes better in the paint than him. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be the chess match with those two guys. Harrison has been up and down with his 3, but you better get up and play Keegan right and tight, because that guy, boy, what a beautiful looking shot. He's got a very, very bright future.
Coach Gary St. Jean joining us on the drive, guys. Coach, you brought up a good point, and I want to follow up on De'Aaron Fox and his 3-point shooting. When you have a player like Fox who has added to his game, but yet his strong suit, let's keep it real, Coach, is still getting to his spots, getting to the bucket. How do you balance giving him the freedom to take those threes and let it fly versus, still going to your bread and butter, which is attacking the paint?
Well, I think his first priority is going to be to attack the paint. He's as good as anybody in the business doing that. Now, the 3 ball, that's Mike and him having a great discussion about, hey, if you make 1, let's take 3 more. If you're struggling after 2 or 3, let's put it in the pocket and bring it back out for the second half. That kind of thing. All a player has to do is see a couple of shots, whether it's paint penetration or a couple free throws or mid-range, go down. Now that 3-point line seems shorter. And, I'm looking for him to have a huge game. He is a unique, special, terrific player.
Coach, one of the things that Kings fans worry about is Klay. He still holds it against a team that they didn't draft him, even though that was, it's like, those people aren't there anymore, Klay. But, you know how athletes are. He scored 37 in a quarter against them. Last year, he struggled all through the year. Looks like he's playing and shooting the ball a lot better right now. Where is Klay, and how big of a concern is he for the Kings tomorrow night?
Yeah, guys, I think physically it's probably the best he's felt all year. You guys think about that. In my day, guys didn't come back from
right.
So way back when. You think of Bernard King, ACL guys, and then you think of Achilles guys. Those are tough injuries. And to have them both, it was not only physically taxing, it was mentally taxing. And he struggled this year. And Steve Kerr, a big part of coaching is beyond the X's and O's. It's the communication and the ability to earn the respect of the player and be honest with them and tell them, hey, I got your back. And obviously you play with joy when you win as much as the Warriors have the last decade. But, I look at Mike Brown and I think he's a lot like Steve. I think he's great with his players. I love his X's and O's stuff. He's great after timeouts. And Klay is a guy right now feeling really, really good about his game. And you guys are right saying this. You don't want to see him make his first couple shots because if he does, he's dangerous. And I'll tell you a little thing. He and Davis have connected. Let's say Klay's coming off a baseline screen and you've got Davis setting the screen for him. Point forward up top with Green having the ball. Well, obviously the big that's guarding Davis, he hedges out a little bit to make Klay's shot a little further. And when Klay finally catches it, he attacks middle, and then Davis rolls to the basket. Yeah. I've never seen Klay pass better. Never. He's been a shoot-first guy, and there's a reason why, because he's a great shooter. But he and Davis have really had a nice connection. And that'll be interesting to watch because, when you got Curry and you've got Thompson, they don't normally get in much foul trouble. But, you could see them trying to attack Sabonis because if he gets in trouble, it's trouble big trouble for the Kings.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, when you look at, the Warriors, I'm trying to put on my coaching hat. How would I attack them defensively? Like, meaning, how would I defend Steph Curry? Is the key trying to being able to guard Steph one-on-one? Because I feel like they want you to double Steph. And then that opens it up for everybody else. How critical is it going to be for a guy like Davion, Keon, whatever? We know how great Steph is, but to at least do a halfway decent job on Steph one-on-one.
Well, the first thing is if you have to chase him around, he tires you out because you guys know nobody moves better without the ball in the NBA. And when he's working down there on the baseline, holy moly, he's dangerous. Now, when he's out there with the pick and roll action, then you look at, say, how are we going to play him? Are we going to double team him? Are we going to switch? Are we going to hedge out and recover? And if you switch, he salivates when he gets a guy like Sabonis on him. He loves that. And then you guys all know about the step back action where he goes right at the midsection of the defender, and he puts that inside foot there, and then he bounces back to create space. He's the master of that. But I would say this: you can't give him a steady diet. I would think Mike will switch it up. And I look for. I got to ask you guys this. I think Mitchell's done a darn good job on him when he's guarded him during the regular season, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He has actually.
Yeah. I liked him. I've always liked his physicality, his strength. And I want to give him credit because I do see some improvement in his shot.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what's keeping him away from getting as many minutes as probably he'd like. And if he goes to work again in the off season, maybe he's going to make another big jump. But I think he's played a lot better and has been a nice piece there for them.
Coach, we'll let you go on this one. Tomorrow night, Kings home. Hopefully we know the crowd will be into it. And you shared this story with us last year, and I just love the story. Could you tell us about that 96 series? You guys go out, you play the Sonics. They're huge favorites. They win game 1. You win game 2. Come back home for the first playoff games in Sacramento in 10 years. How loud was the crowd for that game 3, April 30th, 1996, as you guys are getting ready to play Seattle?
Hey, Whitey, how many years is that? My God, I can't add that high. I got to tell you guys, we had a rally before we left, and I think it was down at the Capitol. And obviously the fans were awesome because it was the first time after the team moved from Kansas City that they made the playoffs. So we split, and we're flying home, and we're on round ball 1. That was Luke and Bill's plane, and we're pulling up, and the pilot comes on, and he says, fellas, look out the window and this side of the plane. And we all look out and guys, there had to be 300-400 people there. We came into the private terminal area and we get off the plane. Holy moly. I thought we won the NBA championship or whatever. It was phenomenal. Just hugging and smiling and just cheering. It was fantastic. And then we fast forward and we play the first game at home. And we go out there to warm up. And I was talking to Rocky the other night, Friday night. We were reminiscing about that, the great photographer. And we were reminiscing that the guys went out for the layup line. And for 20 straight minutes, they gave the players a standing ovation. I've never heard of that.
Wow.
And we coaches are back there. You go through your ritual, why the players go out and warm up. And I kept hearing this roar. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So we're at Arco, and I come out the locker room door, and you know how the tunnel was right there. Mm-hmm. And I walk a little way, and I'm saying, holy moly. You just smiled. You just felt so good. It was a memory that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. It was fantastic.
And who knows if Mitch hadn't turned his ankle? Who knows, Coach? Who knows?
Hey, you know what? That's the truth because we played darn well. I got to tell you, I look back at that, and we were playing Lionel at point forward. And, Mitch, and I told Mitch, I said, Mitch, and now I'm going to ask you to do something for me. He said, what's that? I said, I need you to guard Peyton. He looked at me, those faces he used to make. He said, Sane, are you crazy? and it was unbelievable. And, they were loaded, with Kemp and Shrimp and all those guys, McMillan, and what a team that was. And, coulda, woulda, shoulda. If Mitch played there, that would have been a big difference. But those are great, great memories. And, hey, the Kings are going to play well tomorrow. I'm really confident of that. They look so much more, what's the right word, more seasoned than last year. The moment is not too big for them now. They understand what it takes. And, they've got to circle up the wagons with those two guys being out. In my mind, Monk's the sixth man of the year. He had a fabulous year. I know that Vivek and his crew will step up and keep him there. And, when you look at it, he's your third best guy.
Yeah.
And then you lose a heck of a perimeter guy. But the old saying, it's time for other guys to step up. And, you're playing at home and somebody may get a hot hand. That young guy, Ellis, Kyle, didn't he have a game like within the last 3 weeks where he made 8 threes or something?
Yes, that was a big game. I forget who it was against, but they wound up losing that one, Coach. Him and De'Aaron had 7, Keon had 8 in that game.
Wow. Well, hey,
and we hit 23
again.
That's the one we shot 58.
That was back. Was that New York or Boston?
Was that New York? OKC. OKC?
Yeah.
Yeah, we shot 58 threes. That was the OKC game, I believe it was. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, thanks for the help, fellas, because I can't remember all the games. But I'm still nuts, Every morning I check the standings, and every night MJ knows I'm on the couch, and I got my remote, and I'm going around the league. She said, you're stone cold crazy. And when I watch the Warriors, Kings, or the Suns, then I start getting a little excited, and then she says, I'm going in the other room.
Thank you, Saint. You're the best. We appreciate it very, very much and look forward to talking to you again soon.
You guys do a great job up there. And listen, let's hope that the Kings get one. I say that quietly down here so nobody comes after me in Danville.
All right.
All right, Coach.
Thank you, Saint.
Take care, guys.
You too. Well, there's some encouraging news. Yeah. He says,
right.
Kings are going to play well tomorrow.
No, I like it. And his reasoning is spot on. They've been there before now. They're not going to be in shock and awe or anything like that. I think they'll be ready. They'll get their hard hats on and be ready to take on the Slater Dragon, if you will, tomorrow.
Now, Coach mentioned that he says Vivek will step up and they'll keep Monk. Does this concern you at all from that standpoint? Suns guard Grayson Allen has agreed on a 4-year, $70 million contract extension that includes a player option. So this keeps him out of unrestricted free agency. And there's a guy who started 73 games, 13.4 points per game, 4 years, $70 million. Does that make you a little nervous about what some other team that has the cap space might offer Malik?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No, that's spot on. I think.
But he's better than Grayson Allen.
He is, but
that's the thing.
Just because the Suns overpay, that don't mean somebody else needs to overpay for Malik. I think Malik will get the 480, 490 kind of treatment. $25 million a year is a lot. Like, I don't think they'll go for 100. And so that's right in line with what I think Malik will get. Just a little bit more.
Yeah, because the most they can offer is 478.
78, yes. 478. And
he loves it here.
Loves it here.
Buddy plays here.
Growing team, up and coming team. I'm not. I saw that and I thought, man, the Suns gave Grayson a lot, but that doesn't, to me, impact Malik, because if I'm Malik, I'm saying, oh, well, I deserve more than Grayson. You do. How about 4 years, $80 million? And so I think that's his market.
Yeah, it's a great point you make about them overpaying because of the cap situation. They could have replaced, that is, the Suns could have replaced Grayson Allen only with minimum contract free agents. So that was the choice. Either overpay to keep him or you got to bring in minimum contract guys.
Yes.
So of those two options, overpaying would appear to be.
Yeah. And I think, when you look at Malik as well, that's why it's so critical to bring him back. It's not like you could use that $20 million to go out there and sign another $20 million player. And so for the Sacramento Kings, like, the contract should already be out there, right? Here's 478. Like, we'll give you the most we can give you because we can't use that money elsewhere.
From Woj, ESPN, maybe you saw this. Grayson Allen, $15.6 million salary in the first year of the deal. With the luxury tax, it'll cost the Suns $79 million in payroll and tax. 15.6 to the player, cost the team $79 million. So Matt Ishbia's projected payroll for next year, $206 million, with an additional $104 million in luxury tax, highest in the league.
Highest in the league. Higher than the Warriors?
Next year,
I guess next year. Chris Paul, I believe, is coming off for the Warriors as well. Wow.
I mean, that's interesting. $310 million for a team that,
That's not
the
even
future is now, right? It's not like they're
Right.
building
right. They got
to
to
be better in 3 or 4 years.
No, you're right. It's the future is now, and they're all in. And this is their team. It's not like they can make any big moves or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. But how about OKC, number 1 seed, the average age 23?
They're going to be here for a minute. Yeah.
Yes. When we come back, how will tomorrow's play-in look different from last year's playoff series against the Warriors? Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.